Hello everyone, my name is PolishLynx, and I'm pretty not sure. No, yeah, what I should be saying. I really hope you are prepared for a hike right now, because that's where we are going with the game called Everlasting Summer. Long and you shall reach. It was exactly this power that kept wheeling in my head all the way down to the camp leader's cabin. Somehow I just couldn't manage to argue, to pretend that I'm sick, or to just skip it without a reason. The events of this day taught me submissiveness, although sometimes whatever was happening made no sense to me. As I walked in, I had a thought. Well, in fact, how should I get ready? Clothes? I only have an overcoat and a pair of jeans. Anyway, I forgot to ask whether it's going to be an overnight hike or not. I couldn't think of anything better, so I grabbed the sweater that I had on me when I arrived in the camp. The night might be fairly chilly, and shuffled slowly off to the square. All the camp was already there, although it was about 10 minutes before the time Olga Dmitrievna had designated. I sat down near the edge and waited patiently. Night was falling. If viewed from the outside, what a fairly comical picture we would make: a crowd of pioneers lined up out of a shared habit, like they were waiting a silent command from the bronze Genda. And all this happening in the scarlet rays of the sunset. And there he is, waving his hand and screaming, "Attack!" as roaring soldiers with red neckerchiefs charge into the battle against some ghostly enemy. But Olga Dmitrievna showed up and started to talk instead of Genda. "It seems everybody is here. Great." I was so tired today that I couldn't even think about anything, so I ended up just listening to the camp leader. "Now today we'll go hiking. It is essential for every pioneer to be able to come and rescue his comrade, to offer a helping hand in the hour of need, saving them from a hopeless situation. We have to learn to do all these things together." A whisper that ran through the pioneer crowd suggested that most probably this truly epic expedition would end in a clearing in the forest, several hundred feet away from the square. Somehow I thought so too. "We'll walk in pairs. So if you haven't chosen a partner for yourself yet, now is the right time to do so." Pioneers quickly caught on to the idea and started to march in pairs. It looked like I was the only one without a partner. Sava was enthusiastically discussing something with Olga Dmitrievna, Lena was with Miku, Electronic was of course with Shurik. Well, it might be not that bad idea to go alone after all. "Semyon?" The voice of the camp leader pulled me out of thoughts. I went up to her reluctantly. "I see that you haven't found a partner." "Seems like it." "Then you will join Xenia, she's alone too." Oh crap, I was struck with that special kind of despair that only a true loner can experience. She and he probably won't be happy about that. They both won't be happy about that. So it appears that I'm left with a prickly librarian that I wouldn't risk spending a couple of hours with, even if I was paid for it. Although we both seem to be in the same boat now. I slowly approached Xenia. "Well, I guess we'll be going together." She looked up at me. "Don't even think that I'm glad," said Xenia seriously. "Why on earth you should feel glad?" I asked naively. "Never mind. It would be much better if you'd just shut up." It couldn't get any better than this. She turned her back on me and followed the other pioneers. I still haven't seen any special reason to walk in pairs. And we were walking on the well-trodden forest trails, and it would be quite difficult to get lost here, even if I wanted to. Moreover, while we'd already been hiking for half an hour, we weren't rushing to the depths of the forest, trying to face all the dangers that could test our courage and harden our pioneer spirits, but instead were just walking around in circles. However, if we take into account that Olga Dmitrievna was our chief, this hike could be compared to a hobbit march from the Shire to Mordor. Just as Xenia was following her at a distance, in silence, the librarian seemed to be perfectly okay with it. "Hey, don't you know when we'll reach our destination?" "Our what?" The place where we will settle down and set up camp." "The whole point of this hike is to set up a camp, but the hiking itself. You don't get it." Yeah, it seemed that I didn't understand anything about hiking. "I guess you're right, but still." "I don't know." She cried sharply and quickened her pace. I cut off her and asked, "Listen, why are you always so I was about to say mean, but stopped short. I haven't done anything bad to you, and I'm not going to. She glared at me in surprise. Always so... what? Well, unsociable, kind of. Or is it something about me? Oh, cut the stupidity out already! As you wish. I decided not to start a conversation with her for the rest of the hike. At last, Olga Dmitrievna decided to end this Sisyphean toil. It's time to hold. The place chosen turned out to be a quite large glade with a few tree trunks laid in a half circle to make an improvised arbor with the remains of a campfire in the middle. Obviously, such hikes are a tradition of this camp. I was sent to gather firewood together with the other boys. It didn't take long because there were a lot of branches and logs of various sizes lying around. Eventually, Olga Dmitrievna lit the fire using some old newspapers. I was eager to know what was written there, but couldn't discern anything other than Soviet symbols. Pioneers took their places on the fallen log benches and started to talk about things. It seems that the final goal of this event had been achieved. The only things missing were a pot of fish soup, aluminum cups of vodka, and guitar. But I wouldn't be surprised if all this would appear somehow. Well, me cool with music, right? What are we thinking about? Slavia sat next to me. Nothing special. Just enjoying the hike, I answered sarcastically. You don't look too happy. Well, I'm not about to jump for joy, sorry about that. Okay, I won't disturb you. She sat with me for a while, but after realizing that I was in the mood of talking, she left me to enjoy my introspection all alone. And all I wished for was to lie down in bed and fall asleep as soon as possible, but I was being surrounded by smoke and the useless chatter of pioneers around me instead. They were cheering and laughing and in general enjoying the warm summer evening. In the far side of the glade, I noticed that Lena was arguing with Alisa intensely, and Lina seemed like complete opposites to me. Slavia had left to go somewhere after our conversation, it seems. Lektoring and Sharik were trying furiously to prove something to Olga Dmitrievna. Looks like I'm the only one who doesn't belong here. Try to find out what Alisa and Lena are going. Stay, maybe. All I was doing was just watching the fire. There is a saying that claims that one could watch it forever, as well as running water. But there was also some third thing there. What was that? One could watch three things forever: burning fire, running water, and how other people work. The camp leader pulled me out of my daydreaming. Semyon, don't think that it's too early to relax. But what else would I need to do? Unless he couldn't get what Olga Dmitrievna wanted from me. I don't know. She stopped for a moment. But if there is something to be done, then do it without hesitation. She smiled ambiguously and went back to the fire to throw a few branches on. After those words, I am completely sure that she treats me like a personal slave. Or at least that I am a free labor force, which is strictly speaking the same thing. I sighed and put my head down in my hands, hoping my torments would be over for today. Someone patted me on the shoulder. I looked up and saw Shuriken Electronic, who sat next to me. What do you want? I asked her tiredly. Don't be sad. Is there anything better to do? Look, we've been discussing the possibilities for the advancement of the cybernetics club with the Olga Dmitrievna. And there is a problem. We need more guys. If you could. He hesitated. Advancement and those guys are incompatible with each other. I said nothing and started to look over the pioneers around me instead. Well, I don't have time. Can't you see that I'm always busy with the camp leaders around? Yeah, I guess you're right. It's kind of embarrassing how it all went today with Uliana. I look at him with surprise. It seems that Shurik blames himself for that K accident. Yeah, it is. All the pioneers seem to be here, but I couldn't spot Slavia anywhere. I think she's angry with me. Who? I asked absently. Uliana. Maybe I should apologize. No, it's not your fault. We sat silently for a while, and then I stood up and said, My legs are numb, I better take a walk. They made no reply. I made a few circles around our improvised camp, noticing the close looks of the camp leader following me. Looks like Olga Dmitrievna couldn't wait to come up with some kind of new task for me. I hadn't found Slavia anywhere. Maybe I should go and try to find her. On the other hand, I felt sorry for Liana every time I recalled her upset face. Maybe this hike isn't the most entertaining thing ever, but sitting there all alone isn't any better either. But at the same time, I didn't want to go anywhere. Slavia, maybe? I'm really interested in where Slavia has gone. So I always wanted to leave this place as fast as possible, and if not, to finally lie down to sleep. Then at the very least to spend some time alone, away from all these pioneers and Olga Dmitrievna, who just couldn't wait to occupy me with something again. I picked a good moment and fled into the forest. Night had fallen into the camp. An absolutely normal and unremarkable night. One of those nights when the dark sky, stars or crescent moon don't trigger any special emotions, when the crickets chirping and the singings of nightbirds seemed more like an everyday routine than a nocturnal chores. I wandered around the forest with no special purpose, trying not to get too far from the camp. After all, there was a chance to meet Uliana out there, and that natural disaster would probably be even worse than the camp leader. I sat down on a fallen tree and started thinking. Why is this all happening to me? Why do I keep getting myself into foolish situations, every time and everywhere? Even having suddenly appeared in a weird pioneer camp in the middle of nowhere, I don't get to become subject in an experiment, a victim of a sick cosmic mind, or a participant in an intergalactic war on the side of a group of suicide-prone pacifists, like a regular hero of science fiction. No, I get to hide in a night forest from a raving camp leader and her workhorse pioneers. The stars in the sky were shining brightly. Perhaps they give their light not only to me and this camp, but also shine on the city where I was born and where my old home is. Sorry for a moment. Nope, everything is fine. I can continue. It was as if a pain settled in my chest. I envisioned my own flat clearly, and a detestable burning started making its way from my stomach to my throat. No, it was not wistfulness, more like a sad reminiscence. Because despite all that happened, I felt more alive in less than 5 days here than I had for the last several years there. Now I really wasn't sure if I wanted to get back. Only one question still ate at me: how and why I ended up here. It flared up yet again in my mind. I haven't spent much time seeking answers or even just thinking about my situation lately. My thoughts were occupied with everyday routine affairs. And now, in order to break away and be able to wish to stay here for good, I need to understand the nature of this place. It's just that even a nightingale in golden cage has a right to know how and by whose will he got in there. And after that, to make the choice whether to stay or not. Probably I would have been lost in my existential thoughts for a long time, but I heard voices approaching. Olga Dmitrievna and the pioneers. Looks like they are proceeding with their hike. I headed camp at a fast pace. I have no desire to go back to the camp leader's cabin because I would surely be scolded, and just waiting for it is much worse. Soon enough I arrived at the beach. And I wasn't alone here. A pioneer uniform was lying on the sand. A girl's one. But no one seemed to be swimming in the water. I almost thought it was some new devilry when suddenly a voice came from behind. Skip me out on the hike? I thought you were still in the woods. I turned around and saw Slavia in a bikini. For the second time. Sorry, I guess I interrupted you. That's okay, I'm almost done. Why did you decide to have swim and drink the night? Oh, well, is it prohibited? Prohibited? She smiled. Well, no. It just... Won't Olga Dmitrievna mind you leaving early? But you did the same. Slavia gave me a quick glance. Yeah, I did. I sat down on the sand and stared at the river. You didn't like the hike, did you? No, it's not that. I just want to be alone for some time. And I've interrupted you. No, not really. That's not like you at all. What are you talking about? Well, to live like that. Well, I'm not a robot that can only act according to the predefined program. She laughed. Yeah, that's right. I was still puzzled and my fatigue was also becoming stronger and stronger. My mind was absolutely blank. To be precise, it was so heavy and full so that not even a single idea would have the chance to dwell here and there. If I would compare my brain at its prime to a broad highway full of speeding thoughts, overtaking each other and causing giant chaotic crashes, then now it's nothing but a forgotten tiny path in a distant desolate forest, which is only used in times of absolute necessity. So I said the first thing that crossed my mind. Don't you think it's all pretty strange here? Strange? Everything that happens here. It's the ideal model of a pioneer camp. Of course, it's not like I know a lot about them, but it looks exactly like I imagined it. What are you talking about? Slavia glanced at me perplexedly. Did you ever feel that you are not where you belong? I don't know. More precisely, not where you are meant to be at all? As if thousands of kilometers away from home, or even in another galaxy. I don't understand you. We're similar in this. I lay down on my back and looked at the stars. And what would you think if I told you that I'm an alien from the future? Are you? Asked Slavia in that earnest. Well, let's assume I am. How should I return to my time? Do you really want to? Yeah, all the conversations we've heard that have to do with my situation when the slightest hints of it always end up at the same place. It's like she's offering me a chance to stay. Almost insisting on it. Well, let's say that I'm not sure. Where, as we could call it, everything's like home to me. Or rather more familiar. Practically everything is known to me and I'm prepared for any situation. And here is the other way around. Literally every little thing comes as a surprise and everything is different. Is it really that bad? I wouldn't call it bad. Unfamiliar, unclear. Sometimes it can be hard to change something, especially for people with my personality. But what do they want? To start with, I can't answer that question until I find out exactly where here is. Then go and find out. If only it was that easy. But what's so difficult about it? Everything is difficult. I don't even know where to start. And I'm constantly being distracted. You are talking about it so seriously. It's almost like it's all real. She laughed. Who knows? A pretty long silence followed. Suddenly Slavia sneezed. Bless you. Thanks. It wasn't a good idea to swim at night. You could get ill. Hurry to your cabin, it's cold out here. It's nothing, I'd rather stay here with you a bit more. Now just let me dress. Well, I was certainly flattered, but... Let's go, I'll walk you. But we didn't even walk a dozen steps before Slavia grasped my arm. What's the matter? Oh, I suddenly felt dizzy. I touched her forehead. It was burning. I was never able to measure body temperature by touch, but in this case it was obvious. I told ya. Achoo! Okay, I can do that sound. Come on. No, I could infect Xenia. Listen, we'd better go to the infirmary. And what would you do in the infirmary at night alone? That's nonsense. No, it's not nonsense. If you don't want to help, I'll go myself. She let go of my hand and was ready to leave. Don't get upset. Put this on, it's cold. I handed her my sweater, which I'd brought with me on the hike. Finally found some use for it. Good boy. Thanks. She pulled the sweater on and gave me such a tender and caring look that I just couldn't argue with her anymore. Okay, fine. The infirmary it is, as you say. Alright, let's end the episode here and we'll continue in the next one, because that one is a little longer than usual. See you then. Bye.